This is Rosenbauer Motors. We produce custom cabs and chassis. We started in 2011. You have to have the ability to customize if you're going to be a Rosenbauer product, because our strategy is to customize for the fire department to meet their individual needs.
Hi, my name is Rich Schalter. I'm the CEO of Rosenbauer Motors, the division of Rosenbauer America that makes custom cabs and chassis. The facility is about 100,000 square feet. We started in 2011 with 33,000, but because of the demand for the product, we had to expand to 100,000 square feet. We have about 175, 180 employees in Rosenbauer Motors. It's growing a little bit because now we're not only doing the municipal cab and chassis, we're also doing the airport rescue firefighting vehicles, the Panther. So let's talk about the process of building a custom cab and chassis. First of all, understand that Rosenbauer's distinct strategy is to be custom. That means we're going to build what the customer wants to meet their specific needs. It starts with the design. The whole process starts with having a clear communicated order from the customer. When that spec comes in, we take a look at it with our engineering team. There's always a few things that we've never done before on the cab, and so we have to redesign those specials.
Dan Van Alten, Director of Engineering, Minnesota campus. So I oversee all the engineering that goes on the chassis side and on the body side at Minnesota. Get input from production, sales, whatever, on things that might need to be engineered, changed, updated. Also ask questions on things that we may have incomplete information on or we're waiting for. Then I go back to my staff, get updates, give direction on things that need to be done. I enjoy talking to customers and fixing issues and taking care of things where there are problems in design or something that is a limitation to them. There are points where things can't be done, kind of explain why, give a good explanation why I'm saying no, and then hopefully I can come up with an alternative that'll be satisfying to Rosenbauer and to the customer.
I'm Tom Roberts, the Assistant Chief Engineer here at Rosenbauer Motors. On any given day, I oversee the engineering team that's up here at the Motors. So I oversee the electrical, the chassis, and the cab. I interface between sales and customers and customer service for any technical questions or anything specific that a customer may need. Everybody wants feedback on how you specifically are using the product and how we can improve it. We genuinely are very interested in that feedback so we can make a better product for the end user. All of the chassis team and the cab team and the electrical team all work together as one team. We're not individual departments, we're not separated. We all do interface it really is a team. Everybody helps everybody.
I'm Jason Wilkie. I am the Chassis Engineering Supervisor. So I'm in charge of the chassis design. Day to day, we try to make sure the production floor is supplied with correct parts, drawings, whatever we need to do. We also work with sales and making sure the truck gets designed properly. When we design a truck or parts, what we end up doing is we'll design it in SolidWorks. So we'll see it 3D, and once we're done, we'll draw it up, and then we hand the drawing electronically to our purchasing department, and they'll go to a specific vendor and they will make sure that the part is built properly. And by the time we get it all done and the truck is loaded into the system so the spec is clean, the truck comes in, and with the lead times the parts are delivered right to where they need to be, and the production floor bolts the parts right on.
My name is Dave Scarporn. I'm Director of Sales for the Motors Division. My job is to oversee all of the inside salespeople for the chassis plant. We get to work with dealers and fire departments and make sure that the chassis is built to the specifications of the department. It's always fun to sit down and work through it with engineering to make sure that the customer gets what they want and it's still built in a safe manner. The great thing about Rosenbauer is we don't like to say no to our customer. It's a long-term commitment for a truck. Most trucks are in service 15 plus years. So we want to make sure that it meets the department's needs for all of those years and that they're happy with it.
So after engineering has taken a look at the order and seen what all the specific desires of the fire department are, was cab height, cab length, window positioning, seats, design, all those kinds of things. that will order that cab specifically with a separate part number for each and unique design.
Hi, I'm Dan Kellogg, Director of Operations at Rosenbauer Motors. I see the day-to-day operations throughout the building at Rosenbauer Motors, make sure that the trucks are getting built and built on time and to the specification of the customers. So I've been in the fire truck industry for over 28 years, and I love the fire truck industry because you know it's going to something to help the communities. Actually, you could go to parades, you can actually look at something and people are always in awe over what you do. Every year technology changes so much in these trucks, and it just becomes more and more opportunities for us to figure out how to get the new technology in the trucks from one year to the other. It takes 26 weeks-ish for the whole process from start to finish, from when we get the order from sales to the time we drive the truck out the door.
My name is Matt Strady, Production Manager at Rosenbauer Motors. In my job, I need to make sure we maintain a safe working environment for the employees here at Rosenbauer and produce a safe, reliable fire truck while maintaining a production schedule. We have to manage our processes from start to finish through cut weld to cab set. We have 3 supervisors, one for the paint line, one for the cab line, and one for the chassis line. Each crew is right around 30 people, right around 95 people that work on the production floor. We have a meeting with supervisors at 7:30 each morning. Supervisors at that time have time to kind of know where they're at for the start that morning, what they're short, what they have, what they don't have. And from that point, we move forward to what do we need to get and how will we get it.
So as you walk around our facility, you see that it's basically a week in getting the cab painted. So it comes in a raw state, getting it painted and getting it ready to have the cab assembled.
My name is Nate Wotishak, paint department supervisor. Basically in a day I go through the specs for the guys, make sure the team has what they need, and try and get the nicest looking paint job. Trucks come through into cut weld. They come in as a bare cab and they just work through each area. They go into body shop, get all the body work done on them. Then after that they go into prime. We prime them, we sand them, go over all the cabs, look for defects. Any defects that we find we fix and prime, and then it'll get pushed into paint, and that's where we put the finished color on it, on the exterior of the cab. After paint, it'll roll out, go into interior. We do Line-X Hammer Shield coating on it, basically for durability inside the cab. After that, then it'll go into sand and buff, and we sand them down and buff them shiny.
Along the west wall of the facility are all the major items, the engines, transmissions, axles, suspensions, and seats. At the south end is where we actually put all the kitted parts. So these are all the smaller components. So this process is, the parts are picked about a week before the truck goes online, and they're put into a kit by work center. The way the assembly line is set up, there are various work centers. We have 2 cab lines and 2 chassis lines. And so as they're beginning those trucks, the kits have already been readied for those work centers, and then the workers don't have to walk very far to pick up the parts. The parts should just be right there. So it's really, our mantra is the right part at the right place at the right time.
I'm Tim Hooverman, cab line supervisor. We do it all. We build the brand new, custom fire truck here. So we put in the floors, we put in the steering column, we wire it up, we put in the seats, we grab handles, fenders, trim packages, speakers, stereos, anything the spec calls for. I mean, we do it all. It's brand new, custom, whatever customer wants, we'll put it in there. We'll make it work for them. So we get our cabs from our paint department. They come on the line here and they run up the line. We start building them from scratch. We've got the floor department, door department, free electrical. We have trim, seats, and then cab completion. When we finish our cabs, we send them over here to the chassis, and they sister up, get married there.
My name is Bob Townley. I am the chassis line supervisor. I oversee the chassis line, how it comes through, and frames get built up, engines get set. The truck will come in on carts, 2 frame rails. They build all the cross members, they stand the frame rails up, they put the cross members in, do all the axles, suspension, and then the truck gets pushed forward to 7340 where they plumb in all the brakes, do all the wiring harnesses, add the battery boxes, the batteries, And then from there it goes to 7410 where the engine is set, hooked up, plumbed, radiator is set. QC goes through the truck when it's ready for cab set, and they give us a list of what we call write-ups, things that he finds that need to be improved on the truck, and we improve them before the cab is set. Then they go together and it's pretty much out of my hands, yeah.
My name is Richard Mortensen. My title is Cab and Chassis Final Supervisor. My day-to-day role is I get the cab from the cab line. We hoist it in the air, set it on top of the chassis. Once that's on top of the chassis, we connect everything from wiring, critical torques, to hooking up all the hoses, making sure it starts, make sure everything is not leaking. Once we start it, we go over to the next area, which is bumpers and grills. The guy there takes over, starts putting on grills. From there, it goes to the next department, which is over the pit, they call it, which is alignment. Those guys take over, they start looking at any corrections or issues they see with running of wires or airlines. They just make sure all the functions on the truck are correct. And we start doing our pre-drive checklist, which is about 15 items to make sure it's safe for the driver. Once we get that finished, our QC guy will take the truck, start going through the spec. From there, he takes it for a drive and then comes back in for any other corrections that we have. And from there, we send it to RSD or RMN.
The people that work here, they're highly committed to quality. So when you have your chassis inspection, everybody's watching. How do we do? Big question, you know, did they have any quality issues at all? I mean, the expectation of the people on the floor and in the engineering community and the sales group is that when you come in for your chassis inspection, it'd be perfect. And people take a lot of pride in that. We're taking first responders in and out of harm's way. And then the truck needs to start, it needs to perform day in and day out in order to get them to the place where they're going to risk their lives on our behalf.